Okay, here we are once again, Ron Carter at the Expat Club, Hotel Barracuda. It's Tuesday morning again, and as always, it's my privilege to introduce the speaker, Ken. Now, am I pronouncing this right? Ken Trottier.
That would be the French pronunciation.
Can I just call you Ken Trot?
You can. Trot or Trottier.
Oh, Trottier, okay, please.
Trottier would be that my father was French, so he would say Trottier.
Oh, interesting. Well, just please say hello to everybody.
Hello. And by the way, if you have trouble with that, just call me Heineken. That works.
Well, it will do, especially here, okay? But you spoke, your topic was how education has changed since we were kids, and it was very interesting to everybody. But you spoke about you've been 46 years in teaching, is that right?
Yes.
So a lot of
You want
experience.
to expand on that?
No, just a lot of experience.
I'll list the countries: Canada, Australia, Hong Kong, and Thailand.
Yeah, look at that, eh? So very international, okay? But you started off with the difference between international schools and IB schools, is that right?
Yes.
Just briefly, for our viewers, just explain the difference.
If you go through the international schools, you'll find out that they call themselves by the name of their country. For instance, Canadian International School will focus on the Canadian curriculum. Singapore, the Japanese International will focus on the Japanese culture.
Yes, you're right.
But an IB program is the same throughout the whole world.
Okay.
And there are something like 5,600 international IB schools. Not just international schools, but IB schools.
Yeah, and you spoke about, well, in Thailand, 164 international schools versus 33 IB schools here, is that right?
That's right, yeah. 33 IB schools. And the others are international schools, but not all of them are IB.
Okay, but all specific to the country. And then you spoke about one of the things you started, because you don't know my background. My background is also education and training, so it's interesting. That's why I found it very. But you spoke about different layouts in the teaching environment.
Typically, I guess fellows our age would have sat in rows in our classroom with the teacher at the front, giving us a lecture, sharing the information from the top, and we have to absorb it.
That's it.
But with the IB program, quite often the kids will be given the assignment by the teacher briefly, and then once the task has been given, the students sit in circles or around desks, or even sometimes sitting on the floor in groups, but in groups that they have picked.
So much more interactive than just sitting there and trying to absorb everything from somebody up in the front. Yeah.
Right, and the focus is on their research skills, on their communication skills, sharing their knowledge, and then assessing it, and then eventually at the end presenting their information as a group to the rest of the class.
Well, I was going to talk about that.
I jumped ahead.
No, it doesn't matter, mate. No, because, but you spoke about, is that right, 4 sections of learning? Have I got that right? Or 4 sections of...
If you take the school age kids from kindergarten level...
That was it.
Yeah, kindergarten up to the end of high school, as we would call it in North America, that whole spectrum would be broken into 4 sections. So you'd have the primary years.
Right.
Sorry, before that you'd have the early years, which is the kindergartens.
Yeah.
Then you'd have the primary years, which is about grade 1 to grade 5.
Okay.
Then when you get to middle school, that would be the MYP, middle use program.
Yeah.
And finally, as students get ready to graduate from high school, they're in the diploma program, the DP.
Interesting.
So those are the 4.
And then you spoke about the specific educational topics.
Yeah.
I found that interesting as well.
All the international schools around the world will have the same categories of questions, inquiry questions.
Yes.
For instance, one might be, where do we come from? And in grade 1, or the earliest years, they might talk about where I come from in terms of my neighborhood or my house.
Right.
But then when we get to grade 5, for instance, we'll include, for instance, sex education. Where do I come from?
Yeah.
Which is a little bit hard to wrap yourself around. You have to be very delicate.
It's true, mate. It's true.
Yeah, so it would be the same heading for each grade level, but dealt with at a different skill level.
Yeah, but as you've already covered it, what I like specifically about presentation skills, communication skills, all vital, which I believe a lot of people, younger people, are losing nowadays, these key skills. But anyway, and then interestingly, you started this 10-second game.
Yeah, that was just a game that I came across a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I found it was a good way to take the focus off me and turn it on our audience upstairs this morning. And in the first couple of rounds, it took them a bit of getting used to.
Well, it does, mate. It does. It's our crowd.
But the point was, at the end of it, that they realized, when I asked a question, for instance, name 5 sports stadiums.
Yes.
Well, personally, I could not name 5 sports stadiums, but as a group, they
That's
were
it.
able to do that easily.
Yes.
So it showed them the effectiveness of group work.
Well, it's good. And you're right. I mean, you had a number of these questions, but as it went on, there was more involvement, more enthusiasm, and
But the volume went up.
Yeah, and the point was made. Very good, very good. Okay, and then after that, you moved on to key principles. I've got a couple there: openness, caring. Key principles it covers. Is that right?
Those would be the 10 different student profiles.
Yes. Yeah.
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 And those are things that, for instance, we try to encourage honesty and self-reflection
All
and
values.
sharing and caring.
Yeah.
Those 10 basic profile skills are international.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what country you're in.
Good.
If you get transferred, if you're in a job where your job takes you to another country and you enroll in an IB school there,
Yes.
they will have the same outline.
Good, because those skills are universally important for anybody that wants to succeed in life or get on with people. Interesting. And then,
Right.
all right, now we haven't got a lot of time, but one of the last thing that you covered, everything was interesting,
Thank you.
but you spoke about brain adaptation.
Again, that was a bit of a sideline I just wanted to talk about. For instance, a friend of ours that we all know, Charles.
I know Charles well.
Yeah, and Charles had a brain hemorrhage,
That's
and
it.
his brain now is learning he's retraining his body.
Yes.
The side of his brain that's still working has to train the other side.
Yeah.
So it's a point of neuroplasticity. In other words, your brain can change. If you have been told that you're stupid and you can't learn in elementary school, but then all of a sudden you find out there are topics that interest
That's
you
right.
and you go crazy about that, you just get into it and you learn, and you find out that your IQ is higher than you thought.
Yeah, it's interesting, mate. No, interesting. And then you finish. And sorry, I'd like to spend longer because it's something that's close to my heart anyway.
Education,
Of course
education and
it is.
religion, those two topics really get people going.
All right. And then finally, you mentioned your book. Give
Yes.
your book a plug.
I wrote a book about a boy from Ontario,
Yeah.
actually my hometown, and this boy is about 12 years old. Now, he writes the story 10 years later, so he uses a fairly sophisticated level of language. And the book is meant for young readers, or young adults. And it's about a boy whose family moves to Cambodia, and he gets enrolled in an international school. And a lot of adventures, and I hope some people have read it, really like it. I've had some critical responses, but
Well,
it's available.
you always get people who do that, but it doesn't matter, mate.
It's available on Amazon, and I think
Good.
we'll put the
We will
graphic
do.
up
We'll
later.
try and put it up there. And
The name of the book, if you're looking for it on Amazon quickly, Transfer of Power
Transfer of Power. Take a
by
note of
Ken
that.
A. Trottier. Thank you.
Okay, excellent, mate. Brilliant. Okay, so look, as always, it's my pleasure to give our speakers a certificate.
Thank you very
I'd like
much.
to thank you on behalf of the Expat for Club for Go and on behalf of the members. Okay, brilliant. We'll get you back again.
Thank you very much.
That was good, excellent. Okay, so look, that's it. A quick interview. I'll apologise, but every week, Tuesday morning, Hotel Barracuda, come along, meet us, expat clubs, all different countries, all different nationalities, all different people, all with one interest, that's learning how to live their lives here in Thailand. Okay, so at that, once again, Ken, thank you.
Thank you.
See you all next week.